So Meghan Markle, Prince Harry, Dr. Sophie, right, had a bit of a little tiff. Oh my God. Listen, folks, let's get into this, all right? So, first of all, you gotta admit, this video is gonna be a little different, right? We're just gonna get right into it. First of all, how's everybody doing? Who loves your baby? Listen, I think it is hilarious that Dr. Sophie is approaching it in this light. I mean, it is poetic justice, the fact that she's using their playbook when they went on Oprah. I mean, that in and of itself is worth the price of admission right there. They're probably like, "Oh, Bugsy, please, why does it sound so familiar? What Dr. Sophie said? I can't believe it. Where have I heard that before?" H, stupid idiot. It was us on Oprah. Oh my God. That bitch is using our playbook. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Listen, first of all, think about this, okay? There's an article right here. It says, Prince Harry sent an unpleasant, imperious message to Sentebale boss after she refused to publicly defend Meghan over polo match spat. I don't blame her. First of all, let's think about this, okay? Let's do a little math. I want to do this breakdown real quick. Think about this. First of all, H knew this was coming. Allegedly. All right. Everything I say is alleged. So, but I'm imagining he knew it was coming because the trustees had started dropping since November. Okay. Now, the other thing is this. He released a statement last week, and he said this. He was in shock and truly heartbroken. Now, what does that say? What does that indicate? That indicates, oh, please, I'm shocked and I'm heartbroken. That means I'm a victim. I'm shocked. I'm so heartbroken. Feel bad for me. Please. Look, please. The victim. The consummate victim. Dude, you can't, everything can't be a victim. And that is his go-to move. First of all, it's okay when he's doing shit. However, when it happens back to him, oh, he's a victim. Okay. Now, think about this. Just do the math, okay, logically. This guy has been involved in 5 lawsuits that have all equaled out to basically breaking even. Okay, 5 different lawsuits, all of them basically frivolous. Some he made some money, but if you calculate everything, he's barely broken even. And then here's the other factor. If you factor in the time, you'll never get that back. The talking to the attorney, the hotel room, the time in court, the traveling, all that bullshit. You'll never get that back. It's not worth it. And guess what he said about all of those? It was about accountability, not about profitability on those lawsuits. So you got Mr. Lawsuit Happy here. So what doesn't make sense is if he felt the need, or this other prince too, and whoever else was involved, all the trustees, etc., if they felt like they had really had some sort of thing, or they really wanted to save it, or whatever they really wanted to do, I would have assumed they would have gotten some sort of legal advice or counsel involved, okay? Now, the other thing is this. So he puts out the statement. First of all, here's the other thing too. By putting out that statement, you are saying, I'm a victim. I've lost this. Feel bad for me. Now, how does that set up the charity? If you really cared about the charity, how does that set it up? It doesn't set it up in a good light. Not really. So what would be the smart thing to do? Let's say you guys couldn't come to agreement. Let's say there was no way in the world anything was going to happen. Well, you'd say, okay, look, we've all got our differences here. Clearly, we can't work them out. Clearly, this isn't going to go anywhere. However, let's do what's best for the charity. We'll just make an announcement. It's going in a different direction. This is the best for the charity at this time, that we've reevaluated things, so on and so on and so on. I'll still do my best to always support them. It'll always have love in my heart, but it seems best positioned for the charity to be whatever the hell it's going to be now, located in, wherever it is, or whatever the whole deal is that's going on. Okay? You see what I'm saying? You could have framed that in a way that made it look like, hey, this is still a great charity. I still love it, but this is what's best for the charity. So we are reshuffling our whatever, management, whatever you want to say. Okay. Now, so that would have been the smart move had you really cared about the charity. Also, if you were so worried, so affected by this, first of all, here's the thing too. They've been dropping like flies since November. So you can't really be in shock that this was going to happen. You see what I'm saying? If there was conflicts at work since November and all of a sudden March comes around. Okay, now, she files that thing on, I believe, March 4th. Okay? Megsy's show comes out on March. Oh, no, she filed on March 5th, I believe. Meg's show comes out March 4th. I want to say, don't quote me. Okay? Nobody knew. Nobody knew nothing. However, last week, he decides to make that announcement. Now, there was 2 distractions that happened. So they knew that this was coming. One of them, I'm alleging, is the Gwyneth Paltrow, Meghan Markle thing. I don't know what the powers are that be that set that up. I don't know how that got done. I'm just saying that came out within hours of this announcement to take trouble away from H. They're using that as a distraction. There was one other distraction that happened that I don't think a lot of people caught, and I'm going to have another video probably today. So keep your notification bells on. This one's going to be a doozy, baby. Listen. So there was 2 distractions that had already started laying groundwork. Okay. One was the Gwyneth, because that just happened. So they needed to put something out to try to, beat the algorithm to it. Okay. But there was another one that happened that was prior to, okay. And it was really weird with the way it was set up. And by the way, there's some other new insight I'm going to give you about this. It's kind of going to blow your mind on this whole relationship thing, but I'll show you that in another one. Now, Dr. Sophie's interview, which I'm not going to play and I'm not going to go over again. However, a lot of people were saying that it was kind of contradiction. And in the fact that she said it was great to have the Duchess, show up with her famous friend. However, it was inconvenient because we had to move venues and so on and so forth. And we, had to rearrange everything, blah, blah, blah. And then she said H was, a bully, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, at the end of the interview, she said it was really, working with H was fantastic. But my point is this. She is now I don't know her motives or her agenda or whatever. But if you just look at her CV on paper, this she's smart, she's bright, she's an attorney, she's worked for large companies and all this stuff. She worked on the financial district in London, so she knows she's smart. Okay, now one thing about being smart, being around dumb people that don't deserve it. I'll get to a photo here. Let's say you're around these 2 idiots. Right. And you have, what I mean? It's like you're at a job and you're like, how'd they get the job? Oh, they married somebody. Oh, okay. Yeah. Because they're stupid. Right. This lady's opening briefcases. Meanwhile, she's passing the bar exam. Okay, fine. So your tolerance gets, zeroed out on these morons. Now, the other thing is this. She had to be diplomatic and measured in what she said because it's not a public court. Nobody gives a shit who wins in the court of the public opinion. So she had to be very balanced. By the way, the guy interviewing her, it seemed like he had a bit of an agenda himself, which I'm sure everybody does. And then you look at all the people coming out of the woodwork for H, which of course they're going to have, what I mean? They got all these people coming out for him. And who does she got coming out for her? Nobody. So she felt like she had to say something, I guess. But at the same time, she, you got to be very diplomatic, and if she came out saying Meghan was a horrible person, then everybody's going to be like, she just she's got a vengeful thing about Meghan. Or if she said too much about H, she's got something about it. So she had to be measured, she had to be fair and balanced. But regardless of what she said, you're never going to win the court of a public opinion. It doesn't really matter. It only matters what you say, what happens in court. So my whole point is this. H is a litigious guy that took no litigious action in the beginning. Says he's a victim. Right? Wants everybody to feel bad for him. Instead of putting the charity in the best light, he actually put it in a negative light because now, everybody, who knows what's going to happen with the charity and, but they lost H and, all this stuff, feel bad for H. Instead of keeping the focus on, hey, this charity does good work and all this stuff, keep your support there, and I will still be a productive thing of this. Now, the other thing is this. A lot of people are... Now, first of all, I think, like I said in the beginning, I think it's hysterical that Shiesty and H are getting the same treatment used by the same playbook that they did on Oprah. I think that is chef's kiss. However, the point of the matter is, Meghan has no business being on this stage. She has no business being there. She has nothing to do with this charity. She has nothing to do with this polo event. She shouldn't be there in the first place. So my point is this. And then H, asks Dr. Sophie to say some public statement. Now, first of all, H, as far as I'm concerned, H always talks about accountability. This all comes down to H H is the idiot. He's the prince. He's got the title. He's been in these circles. Meghan is a gold digger, okay? You can see her coming 10 miles away. She's got the miner's hat on. She's got the pick, the shovel. She's got the boots. She's got, gold dust on her nose and her fingertips. You can see her. She's an actress from a out of work actress from Hollywood. It doesn't get any more gold digger than that. Okay? She says she's got a tattoo with Melissa McCarthy. She said that in the conversation. She's like, I got a tattoo on my back. Yeah, it's a picture of her with a gold pick and an axe. Okay, that's what she's doing. I'm alleging that. That's what I think of it. My point is this: she's an idiot. You can see her coming 10 miles away. It's this dumb nuts who should know better. This is his charity, his thing, or he's the Patreon, or whatever the hell do we want to say. This all falls on him. Numb nuts, sizzle nuts, dumbass. All right? I can't help that he's kowtowing to his whatever the hell this relationship is. This, whatever this is. But it's him that should be blamed. Okay? She is gold digging. She does what she does. It's obvious. I want to get on the photo. I want to get an attention. This freaking guy can't say no? I mean, it's ridiculous. I'm surprised Serena Williams not standing up there with a tennis racket. Anyway. That's my little 2 cents on the whole situation. I think it's going to play out in the thing. I don't think that what he did was good for his look or the charity. And by the way, if he would have just said this in a different way, nobody'd be talking about it. So he brought this all onto himself, as far as I'm concerned. Anyways, let me know your thoughts. Hope you guys are all doing great, and don't forget who loves you, baby. All right.
Shit. Who loves you, baby? You're beautiful.